Alone on Valentine's Day? Sounds like you're a Doctor Who fan. Sorry, let me try that again. If the pandemic's got you all cooped up with nowhere to go and you want something to do on Valentine's Day, the official Doctor Who lockdown event has just the thing for you. Yes, on Valentine's Day at 7:45 PM Greenwich Mean Time, I mean 7 PM! There will be a live tweet-along for Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 10, Love and Monsters. And I am excited to announce that I will be one of the special guests for this event. As for those of you who don't know, I was the one who created the monster that appears in the episode, the Absorbaloff. In 2005, BBC's Blue Peter hosted a Design a Monster for Doctor Who competition, and this is what I came up with. Keep in mind, I was 9 years old at the time that I came up with this. This design won against 43,920 entries and subsequently became this, which subsequently gained a reputation for being one of the worst things the show has ever done. It cannot be understated how hated this episode was at the time it came out, and with it how hated the Absorbaloff was. So the Absorbaloff was kind of this morbidly obese bogeyman-like character, and his whole thing was that he doesn't kill his prey, he consumes his prey. But it's not as simple as just eating them, he absorbs them through his skin. My original idea being that his skin was quite gelatinous and oozy and liquid-like. Obviously, given that Doctor Who is not the most high-budget show in the world, this had to be reinterpreted. So his skin wasn't like translucent or anything, and he like sucked people in through like this laser beam that comes out of his hand. Also, originally in my head, the Absorbaloff was going to be like 20 feet tall. Here's a fun bit of trivia. On the back of my design, it said that Absorbaloff was the size of that bridge next to Asda. As if the production team would have any idea, like, what the bridge next to Asda was, considering how many Asdas there are in the UK. Look, I was just a stupid little kid, alright? Now, given that these ideas were what I originally had in mind, Russell T Davies and the BBC decided to spin this story that I was actually disappointed in the Absorbaloff's final design. I mean, it's entertaining. It's, you know, they're entertainers at the end of the day. Now, let me just set the record straight here. Like, the Absorbaloff could have been nothing like the drawing, and it still would have been exciting for me, because I'd effectively made a small contribution towards what was at the time my favorite show. Just picture this, you're 9 years old and your monster has made it into Doctor Who. You're not gonna be mad about that, and as it is, like, the final design of the Absorbaloff is still, I would say, immediately recognizable as the drawing. And I was beyond grateful for the work done on this design by Neil Gorton, Rob Mayer, and Martin Rizard at Millennium FX Studios. I didn't get to meet Neil Gorton myself, but I did get to meet Rob Mayer and Martin Rizard, and they were fantastic people. They really showed me all of the process behind making the Absorbaloff and making the different characters that they make. It's one of those things where I was excited by this as a kid, but I think as an adult I would be even more excited about it. This stuff is right up my street. And there was, of course, the episode being shot as well, getting to meet David Tennant, Billie Piper, Peter Kay. Now look, when people meet their favorite childhood heroes and celebrities and stuff, there's always that whole stuff of, oh, they're so down to earth, they're so lovely, and it's kind of become like a buzz phrase, but I don't know what more I can really say. They were really, really nice, really accommodating people. As a kid, I didn't feel like I was being talked down to. And then, of course, there's Peter Kay, and at the time of the announcement that Peter Kay would be playing the Absorbaloff, Peter Kay was something that was, you know, he's not really aimed at children as such, so it was what my parents were thrilled to bits about, and I was like, okay, that's cool. We've got a special guest star playing my villain, that's awesome. And I kind of really discovered Peter Kay later on, and it's just as well I really like his comedy. But as it were, he was an absolutely electrical person to be around. If you think he chews scenery on TV and in his stand-up shows, yeah, he did that in person when I was there as well. A fine entertainer through and through, what can I say? Connie Huck was the Blue Peter presenter at that time, and she was just going above and beyond the call of duty. She was an incredibly hard-working person. both on and off of the camera. Really friendly, really approachable, incredibly kind, patient, and accommodating. One thing that was also really great was the director of the Blue Peter episode that featured Absorbaloff and myself and the Doctor Who episode was a fella called Ed Wilson. And he drove us from London to Cardiff, and I just had so many questions for the guy. We chatted the whole way there. And it's just honestly so commendable because, I mean, imagine you're a grown adult and you have to drive from London to Cardiff with a 9-year-old in the front seat with you that is just yakking. They're just talking and talking and talking. These folks must have worked really, really hard here. And I also got to meet Russell T Davies much later on for this sort of little look back thing on one of the Doctor Who DVDs, which was called Who Peter, which kind of looked at the relationship between Blue Peter and Doctor Who and how that created kind of an overlap of the fans and the official show itself. And I got to chat with both Gethin Jones and Russell T Davies. Gethin Jones was as likable and charismatic as he came across on TV at the time. It was an absolute pleasure talking with him. And of course, Russell T Davies, the magician that he is, with his thunderous laughter and his effortless confidence. His writing can be truly magical, and he carries that magic with him as a person as well. So it's like, even if that episode sucked, even if I did agree with like the general consensus that Love and Monsters wasn't very good, I can't be mad about it. I just can't, because like, it wasn't even just about Absorbaloff or the episode anymore. It was about the experience. It was about meeting all those people along the way, meeting my heroes. I'm sure they were probably just being kind to me, but like the Blue Peter behind the scenes folks and everything were saying, oh yeah, we got ourselves a future presenter here. This guy could probably present in the future. I mean, in some ways, isn't that kind of what I do now? But I was just inspired by the TV process. I was inspired by talking to director Ed Wilson, seeing the cameras, seeing everything getting set up. It was exhausting, but it was amazing. Something you don't see on the finished product with Love and Monsters as well is it was absolutely pissing it down with rain. Just bucketing it. I don't know if what we saw in the end was like a reshoot on a different day, or maybe they started filming earlier when it wasn't raining or something, but wow, it was bucketing it down at the time I was there. Now, even so, as for my thoughts on Love and Monsters as an episode, trying to be as unbiased as possible, I still can't fathom like hating this episode or disliking it. I can understand the other perspective. I can kind of understand that it's like when you're a kid or when you're a family or something, you spend the week waiting for Saturday 7 o'clock, Doctor Who comes on, you get a little blockbuster, something that's quite epic, something that at that time in 2006 felt like big event TV, and you've just had the fantastic and quite dark-hearted Ood two-parter before it. So I understand that with all that anticipation, if you are met with something about this kind of awkward, quirky guy called Elton going up against this green booger man, you might feel a little bit let down by that. But this episode takes a very sort of meta perspective in that it kind of works as like a metaphor for Doctor Who fans. Elton is someone fascinated by the Doctor, so he gathers together people that are also fascinated by it, they find common ground, and they become the best of friends, and as time goes by, they start to sort of move away from that. They start to love each other more than they love the idea of finding the Doctor, and this is very much like Doctor Who fans, how the show can bring Doctor Who fans together, and then in the end, those friends you've made become more important than your common interest. And then Victor Kennedy or Absorbaloff comes along, and look, if you're a Doctor Who fan and you've got Doctor Who fan friends, or you look at other Doctor Who fans, no doubt you will have stumbled across some Doctor Who fans who just are not any fun. Their life is consumed by this thing. And the more you allow that person the benefit of the doubt, the more it's going to consume you too. That's Absorbaloff. And I just think that's a really well-handled metaphor. Now, yes, admittedly, the episode can be quite an uncomfortable watch as well. Some of these social interactions are a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit cringy. You've got Linda starting an ELO tribute band. You've got some of the sort of just awkward and stunted dialogue and acting in there. So yeah, I acknowledge it can be quite an awkward and uncomfortable watch, but remember, it's a metaphor for Doctor Who fans, and nothing makes me uncomfortable like Doctor Who fans. Sorry, I think I worded that wrong. Can we get another take? No, but think about it. Doctor Who can be a show that does identify quite well with people that do feel a little bit socially isolated. And there can be a bit of a stigma surrounding Doctor Who fans. We can all put our hand up and admit to that. Like, I was quite a socially awkward guy when I was younger. That doesn't apply to everyone. Are you really gonna get offended by this? Come on, get real. Think about it. But that's what I see in this, and you know what? I'm quite grateful that we're also living in quite a revisionist time as well. People are looking back on things like the Star Wars prequels and saying, actually, there was really something to this. People are looking at the work of Zack Snyder, and suddenly he's like the most influential film director of our time, when people really ragged on his stuff when it first came out. And I think the same truth is emerging with Love and Monsters as well, with people going back to look at it and saying, hey, this isn't the monster I thought it was. Maybe it deserves a little more love. See what I did there? No, I'm not gonna repeat that. It's fine. The point is, like the episode or not, that's fine. You know, like, not everyone's gonna enjoy it. Enjoyment is a very subjective factor, but I think there is some pretty objectively nuanced stuff in this episode. And I think that's either gonna meet your taste or it's not. But as it stands, there's nothing really offensive about Love and Monsters either. It's just a little filler episode. There's no long-term continuity changing repercussions or anything like that. And in my opinion, it's a good episode, only made better by an enriching experience. So guys, this is not my only contribution to the Doctor Who lockdown event either, as on Valentine's Day at 4 PM Greenwich Mean Time, there will be a live stream to announce the winner of our own designer monster competition that Emily Cook and I have been hosting over on Twitter. Following that at 7 o'clock, there will be the Love and Monsters tweet-along, and following that at 7:45 will be a brand new Doctor Who minisode that ties in with Love and Monsters, featuring the return of a certain someone after over a decade off the air. So do keep your eyes peeled. I will be posting links on where to look out for this stuff in the description and pinned comment below. So what do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below are links to different social media feeds, as well as my Patreon and a join button for feeling extra supportive and extra generous. But of course, you don't have to do that. That's a big ask anyways. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.